How to make a mini mermaid. This is the lovely lady we're going to make today, inspired by my love of all purple flowers. Hello, Luna. That's my cat. I'll start with the hair. I'm going for a loose, beachy waves kind of vibe. And to do that, I'm going to need a fun, sparkly, pale purple yarn. And I'll need about 10 strands of about 30 centimeters long. To create the cool beachy waves, I'm just going to separate each strand of the yarn until I get this nice fluffy pile of fun fuzzy hair. Ta-da! Then I'll add the jump ring, the wavy hair, the wee little handmade polymer clay face, but if you want, you can use a wooden bead instead. And then I'll put that onto the florist wire that we're going to use for the body. Going to fold that wire and give her little arms. The arms are about 1 inch long, and I like to fold both of them at the same time so that they're the same length. And today she's going to be holding a cute little seashell with a pearl. So we have to feed that on before we can get to anything else. There it is. We're just going to sort of guesstimate the approximate size of her little body or upper body. Sort of shape out her hips a bit there. And we're just going to cover her in embroidery thread. I start with crisscrossing it over her shoulders and around her sort of chest area. We kind of want to bulk up that chest area a little bit. So we're going to do some extra layers on there. And oh my goodness, that hair keeps getting in the way every time I do this. Oh well, we'll get there. This lovely lady is Miss Lily Plumpond, and she and her older sister, Lady Iris Greensea, are part of the Violet Garden Girls, the keepers of the all-purple flower garden found just outside the village of Fay. They tend to the water garden, keeping the lotus, the lilies, hyacinths, and cattails happy and healthy, while the rest of the girls tend to the garden on land. So we only need to worry about gluing the little hand on the side that doesn't have the charm so that the embroidery thread doesn't fall off the wire. It's lots of wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. But again, when we get to the waist and the shoulders, we need to crisscross several times to give her a little bit of upper sort of chest width. And we want to still keep her with a fairly narrow hips, so we won't put too much down at the bottom, but we definitely need to bulk up the top. So extra crisscrossing and extra going over the shoulders. I'll just speed this up a little bit because it's kind of boring just watching the wrapping. Across the top, and then we're just going to add a little tack of glue, secure the floss in place, and snip off the rest. Now we're going to get her tail done, and the wire I left on my little tail piece was a bit long, so I just folded it in half, and we're just going to fold the bottom half of her down a little bit because we don't want her too tall. She is the little sister after all. I make my wings and my mermaid flukes in advance. If you'd like to see how I do it, just leave me a comment below and maybe I'll make a video about that. Just add a tack of glue on the bottom and a tack of glue on the top to hold or secure that tail in place. Careful, the glue's hot. It's surprised I have any feeling left in my fingers at all. I never protect my fingers from hot glue, and I'm always getting them stuck in it. Oh well. In order to bulk up her body, I'm using a piece of like quilter's batting, but you can use cotton balls, you can use pretty much anything if you want. You could use paper towel if you wanted, but I'm just using the cotton batting. I find it's the easiest to work with. Just snip myself a little piece, wrap it around her body, fold it, bend it, cut it, stick it down, make sure it fits. We're going to wrap all of this. You won't even see any of it. It's just to give that sort of body part a little bit of girth. You know, because who doesn't love a girthy mermaid, right? There we go, basic shape. And I'm using green for her. And we just start with some very loose crisscrosses up and down the body just to secure that batting or cotton or whatever into place. It doesn't have to be very neat or anything, but you don't want to pull too tight because we don't want to squish those wires inside so that they don't hold their shape anymore. And we don't want to go too loose because then we're going to have a hard time covering up these pieces of thread later when we go to do the final wrapping, which is a much smoother wrapping. So now I've gone over it twice, and now I'm just going to carefully and try to flatten the embroidery thread so that it's a flatter feel to it. And we're just going to wrap up the body and down the body as many times as it takes. When I do this, I pretty much use an entire skein of embroidery thread just on her body. You can see I've just got a very little bit left because I've used all the rest of it in her body, and I'm okay with that. We want to make sure she's nice and secure and it looks nice and shiny and beautiful. I got these little beads from the dollar store, so I'm just going to add those onto her hips. They're kind of like flower petals for my little flower mermaid. And I'm going to add some extra little leaves and flowers to her. I'm using Titebond, which is kind of a crazy glue type glue. And I don't want to get my fingers in it because it sticks like crazy to skin. And I won't bore you with all the details of each one, but we just placed a whole bunch of little leaves in there. Give her some added garden feel. And who doesn't love glitter? So I'm using a little bit of fabric paint glitter to just spruce up around the leaves and her tail a little bit. Well, I guess her tail is called a fluke, but I feel a bit bad. She's kind of naked on her top right now. Naked mermaids. Oh no. And we'll just use some purple glitter fabric paint to make her little top. There we go. Now she's not indecent anymore. Now I need this to sit and dry, so 24 hours later I'll come back to it. That paint takes a bit to dry. And now we're just going to add the finishing touches to her. A little bit of seaweed in her hair with a little ribbon. Top it off with a little flower. These are just ribbons I found on Amazon or a dollar store. I'm going to glue her hair down to her head so it doesn't fall off. I mean, it's beachy waves and it's supposed to be messy, but we don't want it to be that messy. Oh, watch your fingers again. I'll just tack down a little bit of the hair on the side so it stays put. There we go. And of course she's got to get a little trim because those ends are a bit rough. And I like it a little bit cleaner than that. And there we go. She's all done. If you'd like to meet her or any of her Violet Garden Girl Sisters. They can be found in my Etsy shop. She's ready to take home and leave a little mermaid magic in your space. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.